welcome you all to this celebration of Engineers Day. As we all know that every year, September 15th is celebrated at Engineers Day in our country in recognition of Bharat Ratna Sir Vishweshwarya's contribution towards nation building. We happen to celebrate this day today at MIT ADT University. So let me begin by wishing all the engineers here a very happy Engineers Day. I would also like to wish every individual who has engineered their and others' lives in right direction. Happy Engineers Day to you too. We at MIT ADT University celebrate this day every year with a new theme. And this year, the theme is Research and Innovation in Engineering for Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Thank you, Swapnil. Under the guidance of Honorable Executive President and Vice Chancellor of MIT ADT University, Professor Dr. Mangesh Karat sir, on this occasion, we have with us Honorable Chief Guest of this program, Dr. Avinash Kulkarni, Chairman and MD at Litex, Honorable Guest of Honor, Dr. Monish Darda, Co-founder and CTO at iCertis. Dr. Darda shall be guiding us through his online presence. We also have with us Dr. Deepak Shikarpur, Director, Kinetic Communications Limited and member of governing body MIT ADTU. Along with our eminent guests, we extend our heartiest welcome to the Pro Vice Chancellor of MIT ADT University, Professor Dr. Anant Chakradev, Honorable Dean of Management and Director ICT, Dr. Sunita Karad ma'am. She will be joining. Okay, sir. I would also like to welcome our Honorable Principal of MIT School of Engineering, Professor Dr. Kishore Avande, sir. Dr. Rajneesh Kaur Sachdev, ma'am, Dean of MIT SOE, Vice Principal MIT SOE, Dr. Virendra Shetty, sir. The HOIs, Deans, Directors of all the institutions, faculty members, staff, and our dear students who are not here, but they will be joining us through all the online program. Welcome all to the Engineers Day program.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sneha, for that warm welcome. Friends, it is said that when the idea is right, God says go. When the time has not arrived, God says slow. He shall answer our prayer, come what may, but in his own perfect time and way. We at MIT ADT University offer a unique prayer to the Almighty. A very special prayer that does not talk about any caste, creed, or religion, but world peace. I request everyone to rise in your seats in the honor of the prayer.
Om Namo Jiyadya Veda Pratipadya Jaya Jaya Swasamvedya Atmarupa Deva Tuti Ganeshu Sakalartha Mati Prakashu Mane Nivrittidasu Avadhari Bodhi Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, the engineering community across India celebrates Engineers Day on 15 September every year as a tribute to the greatest Indian engineer and Bharat Ratna, Sir Vishweshwaraya. He is known in the world for his contribution to water harnessing resources. To know more about him, we will now watch a video on Sir Vishweshwaraya and on how MIT ADT University has contributed to tribute him. Can we have the videos, please?
Industrialization was the only cure for some of the ills of our rural economy. He prepared a scheme for rural industrialization which the Mysore government accepted and implemented. Over the years, he gave practical schemes or advice for the water supply of many towns in India. He was also responsible for the water supply schemes of Goa, Hyderabad, Sindh and Aden. Vishweshwaraya worked incessantly, preparing plans and schemes for the development of the country. He published several books and pamphlets. Waking or sleeping, he had only one thought in his mind: nation building. Vishweshwaraya traveled abroad several times. Wherever he went, his one consuming desire was to bring back technical know-how for the development of his own motherland. He gave his invaluable technical advice for the location of one of the colossal projects of recent times, the Ganga Bridge at Mokame in Bihar. He was past 90 when he undertook this work. His deep interest in the industrialization of the country led Vishweshwaraya to found the All India Manufacturers Organization in 1941. Its motto, prosperity through industry. He wanted manufacturers in the country to develop initiative and build new industries with the help of modern methods of organization. As the founder president of the organization, Vishweshwaraya still keeps in close touch with its activities and gives the organization the benefit of his rich experience and wise counsel. A grateful nation has heaped honors on a man who has served the country in so many spheres. Knighthood, degrees, honoris causa galore. When the centenary of his alma mater, the Central College in Bangalore, was celebrated, he was honored as the oldest and the greatest living alumnus. The highest honor that an Indian citizen could receive, the award of Bharat Ratna, came to him. In the citation, he was hailed as the father of the idea of planned development in India. But all these honors sit lightly on Visvesvaraya's shoulders. Unaffected by all these, he lives today in his Bangalore home without a trace of ostentation. His devoted old secretary still assists him in all his work. Meticulously punctual in his habits, Visvesvaraya keeps himself busy and active, receiving visitors, holding discussions with them, attending social functions. For he thinks with Ulysses, how dull it is to pause, to make an end, to rust unburnished, not to shine in use, as though to breathe were life. The one motto of Visvesvaraya throughout his life has been, work is worship. As this Karma Yogi enters his 100th year, we cannot do better than invoke the benedictions of our sages of yore. May we for 100 autumns see that lustrous eye God ordained arise before us. May we live 100 autumns. May we hear for 100 autumns. May we speak well for 100 autumns. May we hold our head high for 100 autumns. Yea, even beyond 100 autumns.
Thank you. And after this rare video clip of Sir Visvesvaraya, we would like to invite our dignitaries. And before that, let me extend our hearty welcome to Director ICT and Midcom and Dean Faculty of Management, Dr. Sunita Karad ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. So we would like to request our respected dignitaries to light the lamp and seek blessings from Mata Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge and wisdom. The dignitaries shall also offer their prayers to Sir Visvesvaraya, who has significantly contributed in the development of the nation.
या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती.
While the dignitaries light the lamp and offer prayers to the Almighty, let us also pray for bringing peace and harmony in the world and providing good health and prosperity to the entire life on the earth. The lamp symbolizes the very fact that we are blessed to have this life, and we must strive hard to make it better, not only for ourselves but also for the goodness of others. The lamp has been lit by all the dignitaries. Thank you.
सर्वेश्वरीं
I request the dignitaries to take their seats on the dais. Thank you, everyone. And now for the welcome speech, I request Professor Dr. Kishore Ravande, Honorable Principal of MIT School of Engineering.
Good morning, one and all. At the outset, let me wish all of you, my dear professional colleagues, a very happy Engineers Day. Today's chief guest, Dr. Avinash Kulkarni, Chairman and MD, Latex Electrical Private Limited, Little Infrared Systems Private Limited. Our guest of honor, who is with us on virtual platform, Engineer Monish Dardas, the co-founder and CTO of Icerities. Our inspiration, Dr. Sunita Karad ma'am, Dean Management, Director, MITCOM and ICT. Dr. Anand Chakradev, our Pro Vice Chancellor. Dr. Deepak Shikarpur, our Member of Board of Governors. Dr. Chopre, Registrar of MIT ADT University. My distinguished colleagues on the dais, Deans, Directors, Principals, HODs, my learned colleagues from all the institutes of MIT ADT University, student friends who have joined online, invitees and friends. 15th September is the Engineers Day, and every year, September 15 is celebrated as Engineers Day not only in India, but also in Sri Lanka and Tanzania. In honor of Sir Mokshagundam Vishveshwaraya, fondly known as Sir MB. His contribution to public good have left an indelible mark in the history of India's development, especially for the state of Karnataka. His administrative acumen, attention to detail, vision for all-round development, unwavering dedication, and above all, transparency in public life. He has made his life a folklore to not only his engineering profession, but also to all sections of society. Sir MV's refused to be constrained by the shackles of poverty of pre-independence day to become an icon of public administration, shaping the country's development. His journey from a civil engineer to the recipient of India's highest honor, Bharat Ratna, has a message for all. Obviously, MIT ADT University is also keen about making this particular aspect, especially the students of this university, aware of this great engineer of this country. And as a mark of respect to him, MIT ADT University has been celebrating the Engineers Day consistently right from 2017 onwards. And this is the 5th Engineers Day that we are celebrating. For the reasons beyond our control, we could not hold it on 15th of September this year, but nevertheless, we wanted to have it, and today we are here for celebration of Engineers Day. We have been celebrating Engineers Day with variety of activities, especially the blood donation camp has been a major focus for us. And apart from that, we used to conduct, or we have been conducting the essay writing competition, poster competitions on the themes that have been identified for that particular Engineers Day to create awareness among young engineers of this particular university. And not only that we were doing this, but we were also honoring the distinguished engineers who have contributed immensely to the nation building. And MIT ADT University wanted to make it a point that such engineers are honored on this auspicious day. Due to pandemic, of course, all of us are aware that this particular celebration has been scaled down, and it has been a little bit on a lower scale last year as well as this year. Last year it was completely online, but this year, due to improvement of situation, we thought it would be in hybrid mode, and that is how we are today gathered in physical presence here at this Raj Auditorium. But all other students have joined online, and of course, this particular program is being streamed live on Facebook as well. As mentioned earlier, the theme of this particular Engineers Day has been research and innovation in engineering for Atmanirbhar Bharat, and this theme is identified and chosen in view of our PM's call for Atmanirbhar Bharat, and of course, our Executive President, the visionary leader, Dr. Mangesh Karad sir's call for making MIT ADT University a research and innovation-driven university. And the guests chosen today, both Dr. Avinash Kulkarni and Engineer Monish, have contributed immensely towards this particular theme. And that is how we contacted these two guests, Dr. Avinash Kulkarni and Engineer Monish, who readily agreed to be here with us and not only say a few words of wisdom on this occasion and contribute to and inspire our students, but also receive the recognition of their contribution from MIT ADT University. Dr. Avinash Kulkarni would be honored as Engineer of Eminence on this day, and Engineer Monish Dada sir would be honored as Engineer of the Year on this day. Obviously, on behalf of all of you, on behalf of the management of MIT ADT University, and on my personal behalf, I deem it is a great pleasure and honor to welcome our chief guest, Dr. Avinash Kulkarni, on this occasion. A grand welcome to you, sir. I also extend a warm welcome to Engineer Monish Dada, who is there with us online. I welcome you, sir, and we look forward to hear you soon. My hearty welcome to, of course, Dr. Mangesh Karad called me just a few minutes ago, expressing his inability to join because of some urgent work that has come up. But nevertheless, Dr. Mangesh Karad, our inspiration, is also a mechanical engineer by profession, by his educational qualification. And obviously, we miss him today, but certainly he said that he is with us by all means, if not physically present. And therefore, I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Mangesh Karad, sir. I also extend a warm welcome to Dr. Sunita Karad, ma'am, who has been guiding the School of Engineering from day one when it was inaugurated on 1st August 2017. My hearty welcome to Dr. Anand Chakradev, sir, who is our Pro Vice Chancellor and who has been guiding this university in all activities. A hearty welcome to Dr. Deepak Shikapur, who is our Board of BOG member and who has been associated with MIT ADT University from day one and guiding us in all activities of this particular university. Of course, my warm welcome to my distinguished colleagues of MIT ADT University. Special welcome to all students, friends who have joined online, and of course, welcome to all invitees who are with us today on this occasion. Before I sign off, I just wanted to share a few things with our guests today. Although a brief video was shown to all of us, but still I would like to just mention that MIT ADT University, which started its functioning in 2016, is a new generation research and innovation driven university. This university has a uniqueness in terms of what we say, that we produce graduates who are winning personality. We also produce graduates who are employable, capable of delivering the needs of industry from day one. And we also produce graduates who have entrepreneurial capability of developing innovative products and creating employment for others. And this all happens through our focus on project-based learning and experiential learning. We also have beyond curriculum learning through value-added program with the help of industry persons. Design-enabled engineering curriculum has been a focus of all engineering curriculum and technology curriculum that has been delivered on this campus. Internships and industry visits are also an important part of the curriculum which makes students understand the latest happenings in the industry. We have the ecosystem in place to promote research, innovation, and entrepreneurship through Innovation Council. Another brainchild of our Executive President, the CRIA, the Center for Research and Innovation for Young Aspirants, and the Atal Incubation Center, which is all on our campus. We have the extensive industry collaboration for academic excellence, research advancement, and continuous learning and upskilling of people, both at industry as well as university. So this is what, in brief, that we have at MIT EDT University, and this is what is the uniqueness of all the institutions that are there on this particular campus. And really, we are happy to, carry on this particular unique, unique education system that we have developed on this particular campus. Before I sign off, I once again wholeheartedly welcome all our esteemed guests on the dais and of the dais, and also all the guests and the students who are on our virtual platform. Once again, Happy Engineers Day, and thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for briefing us about today's program. And to enlighten us on Engineers Day, I would request Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor of MIT ADT University, Professor Dr. Anant Chakradev, to address the gathering.
Honorable members present on dais of the dais, my faculty colleagues, and the students who are there in online mode. Happy Engineers Day to one and all present here. Instead of getting into about Engineers Day, because I think a lot of, everyone has talked about it. You must have received so many messages, so many jokes in last 2-3 days on that. So let's not talk about that. Everyone knows why Engineers Day, how it is celebrated, in whose memory, and what we do. Instead of that, what I'll try to focus is I want to put forth 4 points here. Point number 1, what is the current status of engineering education from where we started? What was the intention? When we started, 4 stages were created in engineering education as per the hierarchy in the industry. So ITIs were created to create workforce, which were operators, right? Diplomas, polytechnics were created to have engineering doers. They were not supposed to, get into design activity, but they were supposed to run manufacturing plants. Bachelor programs were created to create generalist engineers. Jack of all trade type of philosophy was there, so that they were supposed to understand bit of everything in their own discipline, and whenever they go to industry, they were supposed to specialize on job. And master's programs were created for someone who wants to specialize in some area. Someone wants to get into fluid dynamics, someone wants to get into something else, maybe design, finite element analysis, something like that. And PhD was, of course, beyond that. What has happened over the period of time is ITIs are closed because there is less demand in the market for typical workers. We have never thought of reskilling and reconverting ITIs into new centers of new technologies. Of course, that is happening under Atmanirbhar Bharat and under various government schemes now, but it's little late. Diploma colleges were converted into pipelines for second-year direct engineering admissions. So the purpose with which diploma colleges were started was lost completely. They started getting into bachelor's programs without understanding mathematics. So that was another issue which started happening. Bachelor's programs were converted into specializations. So you are neither making them this nor making them that. So that is how bachelor's programs were converted into specialization, and master's programs were converted as suppliers of engineering institutes. Teachers, they started supplying teachers to engineering institutes. So the purpose with which we started all these four institutions with certain hierarchy was completely lost. I think we need to realign, re-understand, and relook at why this was created, and if at all we want to rebuild this, what will be the new format? That's what my point number one. If at all you want to have all things in one program like what is happening right now, I mean, there is minor, there is major, there is honors, there is specialization, there is super specialization. At the same time, there are basic courses. If you want to have everything in one program, probably that's fine. That's a new approach. I understand that. But then we'll have to define it. Who will cater to what? Who will cater to manufacturing at manufacturing level? Who will cater to manufacturing at supervision level? Who will cater to manufacturing at managerial level? And who will think about engineering? Who will design? And who will be the visionaries? I think we need to redefine all these things. That was my point number one. Second point is engineering without doing is no engineering. That's what I feel. So unfortunately, doing part from engineering curriculum has started vanishing. We are creating engineers who are theoretical engineers, who don't understand how to do it. They just go through how to make things on YouTube and understand how it works. But they don't know beyond that. So we should reinstate, we should rebuild the doing part in engineering education to maximum extent. Why can't we have courses which have only doing component? Forget about theory. Those who want to learn theory, those who want to get into those who want to deep dive will certainly do that. Will do masters, will do PhD, will do postdocs. No problem. So we'll have to reinvent and realign ourselves and include this doing part of engineering education. Engineering is always applied. I get surprised when subjects like applied this, applied that come into engineering. Why? Entire engineering is applied. You cannot have theoretical engineering. There is no concept of theoretical engineering. So we need to understand this and go back to our roots, understand how engineering program was developed and try to inculcate doing part in it. Third point which I want to mention is engineering without basic skills is again no engineering. Engineering without visualization skill is no engineering. Engineering without understanding manufacturing is no engineering. Engineering without understanding materials is also no engineering. So if at all we have removed certain part from our syllabus, I think let's put those things once again in our syllabus. Let's not be under impression that computer science students don't require engineering drawing. Engineering drawing is not about drafting. Engineering drawing is about developing 3D visualization capability for an engineer, for a professional, which is anyway going to help him in his professional work. So it's not about doing something. Don't take it as skill. Please take it as developing some capability within a professional which is required by industry. So if we have missed out some things like this, if you have missed out some manufacturing processes, if you have missed out some skills which are relevant to industry even today, I think we need to include all those skills. Otherwise, tomorrow we need not have computer science and IT branch. Google will take care of it. Microsoft will take care of it. They have already started their own institutes. It's just matter of number. If they start achieving the numbers, they don't require any engineers from computer science and IT because they have built up their own capacities. So what we want to do is we want to create a generalist approach engineer which has a capability to get into any specialization on job. That's what is our idea and that's what is required in industry. Fourth point, and then I'll close because the most important quality of an engineer is to speak less and do more. So, fourth point, what makes engineering to us? What makes I mean, when I became engineer, what I became actually? I became a person with lot of maturity. So engineering gave me maturity. Engineering gave me courage to try different things. Engineering gave me that awareness of ecosystem, entire ecosystem of manufacturing, entire ecosystem of how world operates, how things are made and destroyed. Engineering gave me idea about life beyond death, which is of a product or a system or a service. So engineering gave me status. Engineering gave me courage. Engineering gave me fighting spirit. I mean, there was one message which was being circulated in all WhatsApp groups day before yesterday. Just diagram दिखाओ, बाकी का मैं सब संभाल लूँगा. Something like that. So it gives us fighting spirit. We are the best fighters in the world. Please try to understand. It gives so many things. It gives us never give up attitude. Just imagine a person who is mechanical engineer, did his master's in automation. My senior friend Ravi is there who taught me in CAD/CAM in COEP. Then did PhD in design and doing what? He is a pro vice chancellor for drama, film, So this is what engineers make you. These are the qualities which are inculcated in you in engineering education, and that's why you are there to conquer the world. You are there to take up any challenges in the world. That's how the fighting spirit is developed amongst the engineers. That is specialty of engineer. Two more points. Leadership qualities are part of engineering education. You don't need SHD to have teach leadership qualities. It is part of the curriculum. Every course must inculcate leadership qualities. And last quality is discipline. It is part of the curriculum. You need not teach discipline to engineering students. If they are true engineers, they will have to be disciplined. There is no other option because that is how industry functions. So this is what I wanted to speak as introspection. On any birthday, we do introspection. Same is the case with Engineers Day. So I have tried to put forth few points as introspection. I hope it will be helpful in some or the other way. It will add some value to some people. And if we are able to realign ourselves, rededicate ourselves on this Engineer Day, that will be wonderful service to the nation and the mankind. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us Honorable Dr. Deepak Shikarpurji, who is the director at Kinetic Communications Limited, and he is also a member of the governing body at MIT ADT University, Pune. Dr. Deepak Shikarpur is an IT engineer with a global reputation. He has obtained a doctorate degree in the field of his profession, that's information technology. Global India Business Forum had recognized him with the Excellence Award on Engineers Day year 2020. Thank you, Deepak ji, for your valuable presence here. I now request sir to address the gathering.
Good morning. My friend Dr. Chakradev has already advised me that I should speak less. So I will follow his advice. And once Pro Vice Chancellor says, then it is a law in MIT, right? You are my senior. Okay. It is always a pleasure to come to MIT ADT University because I personally feel that other universities graduates provide you bread. But if you want butter, then you have to come to Loni. Right? So MIT ADT University is the expressway between Saraswati and Lakshmi. Because ultimately all students, why they learn Saraswati? Because they want Lakshmi, right? I have yet to meet a student who comes and tells me, I have come to gain knowledge. Knowledge is incidental, but conversion of knowledge into capital is what engineering is all about. I personally don't believe on days because Engineers Day is every day. You have Mother's Day, Father's Day, they are every day. Why do you celebrate only once in a year? Because engineering is an attitude. Engineering is not education. Engineering is problem solving. Who is an engineer? Engineer is a person who has less resources and gigantic problems to solve. Then he will apply his mind, apply his whatever he has learned, and do problem solving. So the greatest of the inventions, greatest of the products are developed by engineers. But you don't become engineer by education. There are many engineers who have BE Tech degree, but they are working as babus. They have never solved any problem in their life. In fact, they have become problem to their own wife. And many times this wife thinks this engineer is working from home and has become a problem for me. So you have to always reinvent yourself and ask yourself, are you adding any value to anybody? So please understand, friends, engineering is about problem solving where results are important. And I got this lesson when I started my first job in Tata Motors. That time it was called Telco. And a shop floor foreman told me, his name is Virdi, I still consider him as my guru in engineering. He was 4th standard pass, FTA. But he used to say, I want results. He had a typical accent, Punjabi accent. And he said, results are everything. If you are only working and taking efforts without results, then it is of no good. So I will narrate this with a story and end my speech. This is the story of two spirits. I hope you know that there is something called spirit. It has different meaning at different points of day in a life. That's a different issue. But two spirits died at the same time and appeared before Chitragupta, the god of justice. You know that. One spirit was of a religious leader who was a great speaker and he used to give discourses. And the other spirit was of a bus driver. And both narrated their life to Chitragupta. And the guru thought that he will get place in heaven. But unfortunately, the verdict was bus driver will go in heaven and guru will go to hell. Then guru became angry and he started questioning. All the time I have spread message of God for last 50 years. And what do I get? Place in hell. Then the answer which Chitragupta gave, all engineering students and faculty must remember because it is applicable to them also. So Chitragupta said only one thing, Mr. Guru, you were giving lectures after lectures, but you were extremely boring speaker. Audience was sleeping second minute after you talked. So nobody understood the message of God. But look at this bus driver. The moment he started driving bus, second minute everybody started remembering God. So the real message of God was spread by him. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, sir. I think there is nothing much to say for you for this speech, but yes, once again, thank you for providing us such insightful, insights that, yes, we are definitely going to work upon the ideas that you have just shared. Thank you once again. And ladies and gentlemen, we are indeed happy to have with us our guest of honor, Dr. Monish Darda, co-founder and CTO at iCertis. I would request our technical team. He has joined us online, sir. I would request our technical team to play an introductory video on Honorable Dr. Monish Darda.
Mr. Monish Darda has more than 25 years of experience in application and system software development and the architecting of enterprise distributed systems. He co-founded WebSim Technologies in 1998. He also set up and headed the India R&D operation of Storability, an enterprise storage management startup from Boston. Storability was eventually acquired by Sun Microsystems, after which Monish founded and led the India R&D of BladeLogic, helping build a highly scalable enterprise platform for server management in the data center. BladeLogic was acquired by BMC Software after a successful IPO, and Mr. Monish contributed to BMC's cloud management vision, laying the foundation of some of the early pioneering work on cloud resource management and provisioning. We are indeed honored to have Mr. Monish Darda with us today.
Thank you. I would now request our technical team to play the digital felicitation clip for our guest of honor, Dr. Monish Darda. And I request our audience to give a huge round of applause. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to confer the Engineer of the Year Award to Dr. Monish Dardaji. I would now like to request Professor Swapnil Shesat to read the citation of honor. May we have Dr. Monish Darda on screen, please?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Neha. I'm reading the citation. We, the governing body, Board of Management, faculty members, and students of MIT ADT University, are delighted to confer Engineer of the Year Award on Honorable Monish Dardaji on Engineers Day 2021 in recognition of his enduring track record for excellence in the field of engineering. Sir, you are a source of motivation to all the engineers and the aspiring engineers. Being a cloud technology pioneer and serial entrepreneur with an outstanding track record in the enterprise software space, we are indeed inspired by your quantum of work. You laid a string of successful deployments of cutting-edge AI and blockchain technologies and many other ventures. This shows that you possess a very special combination of excellent technical skills, steadfast persistence in problem solving, personal humility, and leadership qualities. We are proud of your hard work, dedication, and exemplary contributions in the field of engineering. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I now request Dr. Anand Chakradev to digitally confer the award on Honorable Dr. Monish Dardaji. So I would like to request the audience to please rise in your seats and give a huge round of applause to Honorable Monish Dardaji. We welcome you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, everyone. May I now request Dr. Monish Dardaji to address the gathering. Hello. Monish, sir, can you hear us?
Thank you so much. Thank you for the honor. Really appreciate it. I wish I was there physically, but I was traveling till today morning actually, so I couldn't make it in time. But thank you so much, and a happy Engineers Day to all the dignitaries. Professor Ravande, thank you so much for inviting me here as well. Dr. Shikarpur, Deepak, thank you so much. And I'm really missing being there, by the way. I was really looking forward to it. As some of you probably know, I was the first batch of MIT when it started back in '83. So I'm a very proud graduate. What I am today, that credit goes to the college, the environment, Professor Vishwanath Karat sir. He was inspiration in those days for us when we started. So I'm really happy. By the way, Dr. Mangesh Karat was also my classmate. So I'm missing Mangesh as well today. But thank you again. And I was thinking, what should I say today? I have, you've graciously given me 15 minutes. And I thought what I would do is probably share some of my journey. And it was a very good time for me to introspect, what made me an engineer. Whether good or bad, I don't know, but what makes me an engineer? And I thought I would share some of these things with you. I think there was a phase where people actually worked for subsistence, right? People worked to earn their food. They had to work. Everybody had to work to earn their food. Then the phase kind of changed, and the phase changed to people actually wanted to work because they loved, bridges, software, buildings, whatever that is, but they could actually build. And now is the phase, now is where things have changed, where people work to actually be social, be proud of what they do, to take pride in, what they build, what they do, what they create. And I think this trend is going to be very interesting, especially after the lockdown is going to be very interesting in terms of how this pans out. So, And the first thing that popped up, and very interestingly, because I'm a big fan, a friend of mine said there are three things in life that are certain. One is death. The second is taxes. You have to pay taxes. And the third is Ronaldo scoring. I know there must be a lot of Messi fans out there. I'm a Ronaldo fan. But what that means is essentially you look at someone like Ronaldo and you look at how he engineers those goals. Right? So I was retrospecting in terms of, hey, one of those things that I love, the people that I love, what do they do differently from an engineering perspective, right? And if you think about it, a lot of people have education nowadays, hopefully almost everybody. They have data, as Deepak put it, they have knowledge. But how do you take all of that and actually convert it into something special? I think that is one of the traits of an outstanding engineer, which Ronaldo has, where whether it's a dead ball, whether it's a great pass that comes in right in front of the goal, that makes that scoring happen. It's engineering things by understanding what is happening, by understanding the world around us, and by figuring out how you convert that understanding into opportunity. So I think that's a very big, very important trait to make sure that you can actually have the ability to convert some of this opportunity, some of this knowledge around you into something that is very special. And I take a lot of energy and a lot of inspiration from that. If you think about, some of you might have heard Sir Clive Sinclair, the inventor of the first affordable personal computer, the CX80, passed away yesterday. And he was one of those engineers who actually didn't take no for an answer. He really looked at everything in terms of, what was the right fit? How could he build something which was special that people could actually use, that people could enjoy? And then obviously, history happened. And it's the same thing that happens with great people. The reason why we are celebrating Engineers Day today, Professor Vishveshwaraya as well, I think there's so many things that he did that actually looked at just the scale of the thing, looking at how do you convert that information, how do you convert the learning, the teaching into an opportunity for making things special, for making the world a better place to live. I think that is an outstanding thing to think about in terms of how you look at, engineers and how you become a better engineer every day. I have a small story to tell, not as exciting as the one that Deepak told. I think it was an outstanding thing. It was so good to hear, how the whole synthesis of what is an engineer kind of boils down to that story that Deepak told. But I'll tell you a slightly different story. The practicality, how do you actually convert the knowledge into action, is very important. As one of my favorite science fiction writers and very noted physicist, Isaac Asimov, wrote this story, very short one, so quickly. So this is science fiction, right? So take it with a pinch of salt. There is Jupiter, and Jupiter has people living on it, some life forms living on it, not people as we know them. And they're called Jovians. And as you probably know, Jupiter has a very high density. Oxygen and nitrogen actually are liquid on Jupiter, right? Extremely high gravity because of the high density and the size. So nothing can escape from the planet because of the gravitational pull. But the Jovians and the humans, the people on Earth, are in contact on wireless, on radio waves. And the Jovians are very aggressive. They say, as soon as we come out, we are going to destroy Earth, and they're very aggressive as a species. So the people on Earth are, for many hundreds of years, are trying to figure out if the Jovians come in and attack us, what is our plan to defend Earth? And what happens is the best theoretical physicists, the people who actually did all of that work in terms of how could the Jovians attack, how could they escape the gravity of Jupiter, come back saying that it's impossible. It's impossible because there is no way you can actually protect yourselves from the gravity, from the thick atmosphere and come out. So what is going to happen is if you have something like a force field, the force field cannot stay continuously around a spaceship for the spaceship to take off and escape Jupiter's atmosphere. And as they're becoming happy and they're celebrating that, hey, there is no threat from Jupiter, there is an engineer who lands where the big celebration is going on. And he says, here's the force field. And here's a spaceship that can actually escape the Jupiter's atmosphere. And the physicist says, it's impossible. And he says, no, I know the force field doesn't stay up for a long time. I know it stays up for microseconds. So all I did was make sure that I turned off the phase of the force shield every microsecond. So now it's going on and off, on and off, on and off. With the small delta in between when the force shield is off, nothing happens because it's too short for something to enter. And now I have a force field. Theoretically, it was almost impossible. As an engineer, I actually built a solution. And I think that story stayed in my mind ever since I read it when I was in the 9th standard, 14, 15 years old. And it stayed with me because it told me that, hey, something that somebody tells you is impossible, always think about how you can make it possible. Always think about ways. People talk about lateral thinking. People talk about how do you apply your knowledge to actually create an opportunity. But what is important is if you have a challenge and if you step up to that challenge, and if you think about things in a way that people don't think about usually, you'll find a solution. If you look at Galileo, for example, when he started saying that the earth was round, he was unfortunately hanged for it. But there's an interesting way of thinking about how engineers actually know how to get around common conceptions, how to get around the worst kind of phenomenal barriers in their path, how to get around problems that require solving, and require solving even for the greater good, even for humanity. And there's one example here that is very striking in today's world in terms of how the COVID vaccines were developed. I think these doctors were also engineers, these researchers, the scientists, the people who actually engineered the mRNA drug, the people who engineered the drugs, the vaccines that we take regularly now. They have been engineers in terms of figuring out, how to solve that problem, how to surmount what seemed impossible odds against an impossible deadline. And people made it happen. So let's all of us salute the spirit of engineering, the spirit of engineers, the spirit of overcoming adversity, the spirit of resilience, the spirit of making sure that when things go bad for you, you actually learn from them and you do things better. I think that kind of emotion, that kind of motivation is something that, I take inspiration from. That's how with Icertis, we've built one of the largest contract lifecycle management platforms in the world, the first unicorn that was a CLM, contract lifecycle management company in the world. And I'm looking at how do we take this and how do we solve this problem of making sure that contracts get out of the way of everything that we do across the world and make sure things are simpler, make sure people have opportunity and time to do some things that are actually even more creative and to make commerce run successfully. Again, I'm very, very thankful to MIT ADT University. I'm very, very thankful to all the staff of MIT, of all the people who made this possible. Thank you so much for your honor. Always remember it. And happy Engineers Day again.
Thank you. Thank you very much for those very interesting pieces of information and your valuable guidance, sir. Thank you very much for joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are indeed happy to have with us our chief guest, Dr. Avinash Kulkarni ji. He is the chairman and MD at Lytx. I would like to request our technical team to play an introductory video on Honorable Dr. Avinash Kulkarni ji.
Dr. Avinash Kulkarni received BTech Honours from IIT Bombay, PhD from University of Pennsylvania, Philadelphia and MBA. He worked for 8 years as a senior research engineer in the lamp division of Westinghouse Electric Corporation in Bloomfield, USA, where he received a citation as inventor for getting 5 US patents. He is a recipient of the first prize of the National Award as an Outstanding SSI Entrepreneur from the President of India. He is also a recipient of Distinguished Alumnus Award of IIT Bombay. Dr. Avinash was a two-term president of Electric Lamp and Component Manufacturers Association, an apex body of then rupees 7,000 crore lighting industry of India. He was also a president of the Indian Society of Lighting Engineers for a 4-year term. He was also a distinguished lecturer of Indian Society of Heating, Air Conditioning and Refrigeration Engineers. We are indeed honored to have Dr. Avinash Kulkarni with us today.
Thank you. I now request our Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Anand Chakradev, to felicitate Honorable Dr. Avinash Kulkarni ji. A huge round of applause, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to request everyone to rise in your seats because Sir has just been conferred with Eminence of Engineering Award. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I now request Professor Sneha Wagatkar to read the citation of the award.
Thank you, Swapnil. We, the governing body, Board of Management, faculty members, and students of MIT ADT University, are delighted to confer the Engineer of Eminence Award on Dr. Avinash D. Kulkarni in recognition of his enduring track record for excellence in the field of engineering. Honorable Sir, you are a source of motivation not only to all the engineers across the country, but also to the aspiring engineers as you have put your heart and soul into your profession to be innovative and entrepreneurial. You are the harbinger of developing products and systems that respond to customers' requirements and bring them sustainable leverage. Your robust background in engineering laid the foundation to align the entrepreneurship from the President of India. Your strong leadership qualities, with consistent and sustained contributions to your organization, are indeed commendable. We are proud of your remarkable journey and exemplary contributions in the field of engineering. Thank you, sir, once again. And now I humbly request Honorable Dr. Avinash Kulkarni, sir, to address the gathering.
Good afternoon, dignitaries on the dais, dignitaries of the dais, my young friends online, and those sitting in front of me. First of all, I'd like to thank MIT ADT University for selecting me for this great honor. I consider this to be a very significant honor for me in my career. I was thinking, what should I be talking about? If I talk about my entrepreneurial journey, how it started, it was quite long ago, and things were so different then than they are what they are now. In early 80s, mid 80s, the bureaucracy was so phenomenal that it took forever to get things done. Just to give one couple of examples, if you wanted to import something, you had to file an application to JCCI. You probably don't know what it is. Joint Chief Controller of Import and Export. Even $100, $500, you have to go to them. The office near Churchgate. And endless exercise in bureaucracy. MSFC loan disbursement There are 68 conditions. You have to tick every one of them. It took me 10 months to do that, and the loan was only for 4 lakh rupees. So no point talking about my entrepreneurial journey, how I started, because now it has become irrelevant. Thank God it has become irrelevant. I think things are so much better now. And the finances are available not just from MSFC and government bodies, but from so many other sources, which are far more, I would say, demanding, but there are plenty of options available. When I received this citation that I will be getting, so I started thinking, what did I do? What are the significant things which I had done? Since I'm not going to talk about my entrepreneurial journey, let me talk about the technologies. I realized that there are 6 major technologies which we developed. 2 of them are for very critical component and critical service, 2 very prestigious, strategic, defense-oriented projects, which I don't want to share here because of obviously these are not to be shared. These are quite confidential. There are 4 other technologies which I can share. Some of them I would like to share. The first one I would like to share is the one which is of current interest, which is of the air disinfection, and which is supposed to prevent the spread of COVID. How did we start? First of all these six technologies we are talking about, the 6 products which we developed, we are the still only company in India which are doing these 6 products even now. We started manufacturing UV lamp in 2005. There are some. We had a representative in USA who said, "Can you make this UV lamp?" And that time, the UV lamps are generally made out of soft glass. We went to Philips. Philips was the only manufacturer of soft glass for UV lamps. We found that every time we went back to them, they raised the price by 30%. So we realized that Philips is not going to support us. So we started manufacturing. What is the alternative? Quartz. Now quartz has a softening point of 2000 degrees centigrade and soft glass of 700 degrees centigrade. You can just imagine how much easier it is to work with soft glass than quartz. You can make UV lamp out of soft glass on a high-speed machine, making 4,000 lamps, 3,000 lamps per hour. But here with 20 workers, we probably make 300 lamps per day. So this is the level of what you call difficulty in making these lamps. But we succeeded. When we gave the samples, quartz UV lamp samples to USA, they said these lamps are better than what is available here. So with encouragement, they said, can you supply them? I said, we don't have money. So they gave us $50,000 loan. So this is how we built our first plant. And then these are very premium quality lamps. So if you take what you call water disinfection, is really is so well known in India because every other house has an AquaGuard, where if a 6 watt or 8 watt UV lamp purifies water. These lamps are made of soft glass, and we cannot compete with them because I told you the reason why. The premium quality UV lamp, which is made of quartz, are very expensive. The only way we could really survive is to export. So we have exported something like 600,000-700,000 lamps to USA, mostly of length greater than 1 meter. And this gave us the exercise to manufacture lamp. If we did not have if you don't have the opportunity to make lamps, how can you develop the new technology? But these lamps were going to a warehouse, and we did not have any what you call brand name. So we are competing with Chinese. So pricing was not so good. So although we were keeping ourselves busy, but we did not do financially well. First thing we realized that you have to get into a technology where you go a little closer to the customer. So when you are selling your lamps to a warehouse and where he is distributing to some other distributor, then there are 3-4 more people in between who are making money and you are not. So how do you get closer to the customer? So in 2010, I read an article about ultraviolet germicidal irradiation in an air-conditioned building in some Florida hospital. I just read the case study. I said, why not we try this? But where do it? Because we did not know even ABC of air conditioning. So I did a lot of reading, and I somehow ran into Dr. Anand Deshpande and said that I would like to do this for your persistent headquarter, which is Bhagirath. He said, yeah, why not? Do it. That readily agreed, and he phoned his senior vice president Joshi that just see to it that we give him an order. That was our first order. And fortunately, the people in Persistent, they were good HVAC engineers there. And we worked together, and we equipped the whole building, 6th-floor building of Bhagirath. And they had so much of data prior to our installation. They were doing every month how much of kilowatt hour they are consuming for air conditioning. And they had all the data, month-wise. And they shared the data with us. So we knew what was the history. And when we installed this, we were really keenly waiting because we are lamp people. And then about 6-7 months later, we realized that, my God, the energy consumption has gone down so much, air quality is so much improved. We are absolutely thrilled. And then we just made very hesitantly a request to Persistent, can you share all the data with us? I'd like to publish this. Anand Deshpande again advised, give them everything. But this is not something our trade secret or something like that. Let them. Then I made a presentation in Bombay in some ISHRE forum. And the editor of ISHRE was sitting there. He said, can you write this up for me? I'd like to publish this data. And after a long time, I got an opportunity to publish a technical paper. So I wrote it up, and it appeared in 2011 in a magazine. And this whole experience, this whole episode gave us the confidence, yeah, we can do something, and we have promoted a new venture. We did not want to add this venture to this activity in ArcLight because ArcLight was sort of fumbling. So we started a new venture called AeroPure UV Systems Private Limited. Out of the 4 companies, this is the latest company, last company which I had started, and I don't want to start another one. So in 2011, we started this, and at about the same time, Delhi Metro came, and they had ultraviolet lamp in the as a UVGI, ultraviolet germicidal irradiation, as requirement for the HVAC system. Can you just imagine a underground metro station, some couple of 100 meters long, maybe 50 meters wide and a diameter? It's a colossal air conditioning project. Several tons of air per minute is being circulated, and they have to have the air cleaning system. But there was a problem. Can I have water, please? There was a problem because the requirement was of UL, Underwriters Laboratory approval. But our engineers used to talk to, at midnight, they used to talk to New York with the UL laboratory, and within 6 months we got the approval. Once we had that, then all 4 major HVAC contractors like Voltas and Samsung, all of them fell in line because we were approved by Delhi Metro. And that was our beginning of our journey in this UVGI. And for air conditioning and air quality management, it also saves 15% energy cost. Why? What are we doing? We are putting, if you are aware that there is something called air handling unit in AHU. It's called air handling unit in HVAC system, in which there is a cooling coil. So all we do is shine UV light on the cooling coil. Since UV does not support life, it destroys life actually. So whatever is the mold mildew already on the coil, it sort of it dies and it flies away. And the coil becomes absolutely clean. The coil may be very dirty, but you put the UV lamp, in 1 month or so, everything will start cleaning up. You can imagine what it does to heat transfer. If you got even a micron thickness of mold mildew, the heat transfer goes down by 10%. But here you have a millimeter, half a millimeter, few millimeters. thick mold and mildew layer. So we all eliminate that. And every time the air is passing over UV lamp, it gets disinfected. So there were not only these two benefits, there are 10 other benefits. Because you don't have to clean the cooling coil every few months. When you clean the cooling coil, you have to turn the HVAC off. You don't have to do that. There are innumerable other. There is no what you call water pollution, because you don't require chemicals to clean the coil. Life goes up. There are certain advantages, other advantages. But you will not believe this. Initially, it's only last year things dramatically changed. Before that, the only way we could sell this concept to other than Delhi Metro and other organizations like that was on the basis of the energy conservation. It says, if you install our system, in 1 year you'll get the energy saving will be enough to pay for the cost of this payback period of 1 year. But we still had tough time. You go to hospital, talk to them, he says, our air quality is perfect. And they know it is not, but they will never admit. So, come COVID, the entire picture changed. Now, all the orders we are getting are on the basis of, are really for the air quality. I may say that TCS has come to us, and it's going to be across the country and even abroad. We are talking about doing TCS office. So, now we have created so many partners, and they are multinational companies. Voltas is, of course, a multinational company. There are other partners which I'm not allowed to give the names away, because they are doing under their own brand. Like Voltas is doing it with our own Aeropio brand. This we found very, very important partner, because we can't reach the entire India while Voltas is everywhere. So with this, we did in 2012 to 13-14, we did all 43 stations, underground stations of Delhi Metro, with this 4 of these HVAC companies. And we have done now 20 airports. Now, all of them are not done by Aeropio. Maybe half of them are done by us, half of them by our channel partners like Volta and many others. Of course, we welcome this, because our reach is very limited. We are an SME. How can we go all around? Now, all 3 of these multinationals who have joined hands with us, they are going to be marketing this not just in India, it's going to be abroad. So we see a tremendous potential for this technology, which we developed on our own. In fact, I can say that we created a new industry. There are now half a dozen other companies who are following us in this business. We welcome them, because we get to sell our lamps to them and ballast to them, because no one else is manufacturing, otherwise they have to import. Now, I'll just like to, with this, we see a tremendous opportunity for us in terms of improving indoor air quality in a closed HVAC environment. Now, I'll talk about something which is more relevant to this place, because this belongs to, there's a lot of connection with the film industry and TV industry this place has had. As I said, one of the 6 technologies which we developed, one of them is for light source, halogen light source for film and TV filming, photography, shooting, film. Can you believe that we are perhaps the biggest film and TV industry in the world, and none of those lamps which go into light for shooting are made in India? Till about 6 years ago, it took us 2.5 years of full effort to develop these lamps. We have developed some 6 lamps. I just want to give some flavor of how this industry operates. This film and TV lighting. These are, none of the director producers ever buy lamps. They just phone equipment hirers. You send us so many 1,000-watt babies. Now there is a lamp called Baby, which is 1,000-watt single-ended lamp. There is a lamp called Mirchi. There is also 1,000-watt of a different design. There is a lamp called Panja, which is 5 kilowatt. So all these These are the words which are used in the TV and film shooting industry. And our lamp really got, after a lot of hard work, because these lamps are very difficult to manufacture. Just to give you an idea, that when we started halogen lamp manufacturing in early 80s, the price of the lamp was, these are standard 1000 watt lamp which was used for sports lighting, which was a very popular lamp in 30 years ago. That time the price was, what we were getting was like $10. That was like 100 rupees, so the dollar was about 10 rupees. Now, the price of the same 1000 watt lamp is 40 cents. Can you imagine the price depreciation? Because the quartz tube, tungsten wire, molybdenum, tantalum, which goes into this lamp is imported. So tremendous pricing pressure. And initially there were about 15 to 20 companies which got into the halogen lamp. And we are the only one who have survived because we developed other lamps. We developed in mid-90s, we developed photocopier lamps. At one point, 60% of our sales were coming from photocopier lamps, Xerox machine lamps. Now, but again, by turn of century, they all become digital copier, and they did not need halogen lamps. So we lost a huge chunk of business right there. And the halogen lamp, which price depreciation like $10 to 40 cents, that also became effective. Fortunately, we had another technology of infrared lamps, which is the number one technology for us right now, which is giving us. And the one technology we talked about is for this defense contract which we developed. That also is contributing to our revenues. Now, coming back to this lamp for this film and TV shooting, this Baby and Mirchi and Panja and all these things, people who equipment hirers, they just come by car to our company, fill up all the lamps in their dicky and drive away. So we have created it. Of course, it's just not something which is which was not it was of course never done in India before. It is just the pride that we can do it. Why should you import if you can do it yourself? And a lamp like that, 1000 watt, costs 40 cents, the one which we were making 30 years ago. These lamps, 1000 watt, you get 400 rupees. So value addition, because these are much more difficult to make and difficult to fabricate. So there is a premium, and we are very happy that. How much time do I have? Huh? Okay. Okay, just in the end, I just talk about a third technology. We make UV lamp which can produce ozone. By selecting the right technology, we can make other UV lamp which produces. See, UV mercury discharge has got two resonance lines, 185 nanometer and 254 nanometer. 254 nanometers for disinfection, 185 nanometer. When it comes in the air, it produces ozone. It's a photochemical reaction. Now, when you make these lamps, this ozone, as you know, is a very powerful oxidizing agent. And all the odors are because of VOCs, volatile organic compounds. If it is a good, nice perfume odor, or if it is a STP odor, or food odor, they are all VOCs, and which are organic compounds, and ozone will oxidize them. So we have several installations in Pune and elsewhere also, where we put ozone forming lamps in the exhaust duct of the STP. So as the VOCs are encountering ozone, they really oxidize, they neutralize each other. Ozone oxidizes VOCs, and VOC reduce ozone. So they neutralize each other, so they kill each other. And the smell is gone. Another application of this is a food industry, like mainland China of the Senapati Puppet Mark. They had a problem because their neighbors said that we like Chinese food, but we don't want to smell it 24/7. So they heard about us and they came to us, can you do something about it? So we installed a bank of ozone forming UV lamp in the exhaust duct of the cooking range, cooking hood. and the problem was solved. And we have a very nice testimonial from them. So with these three technologies, we are still the only one who are dabbling in this, who started these industries in India. I feel that in spite of a lot of initial problems, and especially for Arclite, where UV really became a hit product only just last year, it has been a very satisfying journey. And again, I said the problem solving is the core competence for engineers, and I think we should constantly look for opportunities to use this to create new solutions, new industries. I once again thank MIT ADT for conferring this honor on me, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the detailed guiding speech. It is our honor to hear from such a great yet humble personality. Once again, I request the audience to give a huge round of applause to Honorable Dr. Avinash Kulkarni, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Friends, we would like to share with you all that on Engineers Day 2021, MIT School of Engineering conducted a virtual elocution competition, and the theme of this competition was Research and Innovation in Engineering for Atmanirbhar Bharat. And after going through various levels of scrutiny, we have 3 winners today. We would like to congratulate and acknowledge the participation of all the enthusiastic students, and would now like to announce the names of the winners.
Third prize for the elocution competition goes to Ms. Haley Darbari from MIT School of Food Technology. We are going to present her the Certificate of Merit. May we have the Certificate of Merit for Ms. Haley Darbari, and have a huge round of applause. The second prize goes to Mr. Aditya Bhosle from Mechanical Department, MIT School of Engineering. Certificate of Merit to Mr. Aditya Bhosle. Thank you. Let us make sure that our applause do justice to all these students, because they have really done a fabulous job. And finally, the first prize goes to Ms. Apurva Nimse from MIT School of Food Technology. Certificate of Merit to Ms. Apurva Nimse. Once again, we congratulate all the participants and the winners. Thank you. Friends, when I say this, I say for everyone that we miss our beloved students. We hope that we could see a fully working environment and campus filled with students very soon. This is a message for all our dear students who are watching us online. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you, Sneha, for announcing the names of the winners. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to request Dr. Rajneesh Kaur Sajdev ma'am, General Chair of IEEE International Conference on Innovation and Engineering Design and Holistic Education, to brief us about a conference.
Good afternoon, respected dais and all my colleagues present here. So, friends, we are come up with this new conference in MIT ADT University, which is 4th in its series, that is IEEE PuneCon 2021. It is an international conference on innovation in engineering, holistic education and design. So we have tried to cover all the aspects of MIT Art, Design and Technology University under this conference. So this conference is 4th conference in its series, which is jointly organized by IEEE Pune section and MIT Art, Design and Technology University, Pune. The theme for the conference is Innovation in Engineering, Design and Holistic Education. This conference aims to provide a technical platform for the researchers across the globe to present their innovative ideas and share the technical knowledge. This conference encourages original papers in the diverse domains concerning in the field of technology of advancement right from the data science, robotics, autonomous vehicles, innovative designs, holistic educations, and many more. There are multiple tracks under this conference. This conference is for 4 days. 2 days are for the workshops and 2 days for the paper presentation. And we also received the confirmation from very good speaker for the conferences and for the keynote session also. Dr. Thingarang Perunial, he's a professor at the University of Putra, Malaysia. He confirmed his keynote address on the conference. We also got the confirmation from Dr. Ankush Ghosh. He's a senior member of IEEE and a professor from Neotia University. We also received a very good response for the workshop, on which we received the confirmation of the speaker from Professor Dr. Urmila Kar. She is the head of NITTR in the education for outcome-based education. We also received the confirmation from Mr. Shankarnandan L., who is an executive management from IIM Bangalore, on the topic of the global rise of NFT. Another speaker is Mr. Raj A. Kapoor. He is a chief blockchain advisor from Indian Blockchain Alliance. He's also going to talk in terms of blockchain and the use of it in NFT. We have confirmation from the speaker, Dr. Rekha Kaul. She's a Dean International, Curtin University, Australia. She's going to talk about the essential 21st century skill sets, traversal competency, and Ms. Amni Gupta, lead operational analyst, Nitra Din. And we also got confirmation from Dr. Anand Kulkarni, who is also talking about reshaping the applications of robotics using AI. So this is going to be a wonderful conference. I request all of you to be an active participation in this particular 4 days conference. Thank you. So taking the opportunity of this Engineers Day event, I would like to request all the respected dais to inaugurate the conference brochure.
A huge round of applause for the wonderful brochure inauguration. Thank you, ma'am, for briefing us about this conference. And now I would request Dr. Satish Patil sir, HOD Civil Engineering, to brief us about an upcoming international conference.
Thank you, Sneha. Good afternoon, one and all. Honorable dais, the delegates on dais and off the dais. With the blessings of Honorable Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir, founder, Myers MIT Group of Institutions, Pune. Honorable Dr. Mangesh Karad sir, Executive President and Vice Chancellor, MIT ADT University. Today, on this auspicious occasion of Engineers Day celebration in the fond memory of legendary civil engineer Bharat Ratna Sir Mokshagundam Vishveshwaraya, it gives me an immense pleasure to announce that under the mentorship of Dr. Mangesh Karad Sir, Executive President and Vice Chancellor, MIT ADT University, and under the guidance of Dr. Kishore Rawande, Principal, MIT School of Engineering, our Civil Engineering Department of MIT School of Engineering has planned an international conference on materials, infrastructure, and technology for sustainable development, MIT SD 22, in the month of March 2022. In collaboration with Indian Green Building Council, IGBC, Institute for Steel Development and Growth, INSDAG, Institute of Engineers, Pune Chapter, IOE, Indian Concrete Institute, ICI, This conference aims to address the applicability of materials, infrastructure, and technology to achieve the sustainable development in urban and rural areas. We all are aware that the climate change and global warming has changed the entire outlook towards the sustainability. Rather, it has become a need of the hour for all the industries. The construction industry being very closely related to the sustainability, and in order to cater this fundamental change, we, the engineers, planners, designers, academicians, researchers, and innovators, need to look for the solution and take a step to save our Mother Earth. I request all the dignitaries on the dais to inaugurate the first leaflet of the proposed international conference MIT SD 22 on Engineers Day occasion. Sir, please. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to request the Dean Management and Director ICT and MITCOM, Professor Dr. Sunita Karad ma'am, to give her valuable inputs on this day.
Vidya Vinayena Vikasate. Good afternoon, everyone. Dignitaries on the dais, Dr. Avinash Kulkarni, Chairman MD, LITEX, Mr. Monish Darda, Managing Director, ICERTIS, Pune, Professor Dr. Ravande, Dean, Director, various other Deans, Director, Registrar, and Executive President of MIT ADT University and Father Founder, Dr. Vishwanath D. Karad. It is indeed a great moment for every one of us. Today we have coming up with the nostalgic memory of 2017 when we have started with the MIT School of Engineering. It was the day one with one faculty. We have started the dream of this MIT School of Engineering. I think Savita Shinde, and then recently after 1 to 2 months, I think 1 or 2 months, Dr. Sudarshan Sanav had joined for this particular institution establishment. When the Maharashtra state was lacking with a lot of seats vacant for the engineering colleges, Dr. Karad has said that, Sunita, we have to come up with this challenge for MIT School of Engineering, and almost 640 plus engineering seats we have done in very first year without any building and without any infrastructure. And I think Professor Ravande has joined there. And I have requested, sir, we have to start with the Engineers Day celebration for this particular campus, and I think he has taken this very positively to me and accepted this challenge, and he is celebrating every year without a failure. And I think last year he has celebrated this particular day online. And thank you, Ravandeji, for celebrating this, because I think on both the campuses we have 17,000 students on WPU campus. Out of that, 10,000 students are from the engineering background, and this particular campus is touching in the coming years to 8,000 plus engineers. This year we have, I think, 5,000 plus engineers who are coming out of this particular ADT campus. So this is really a great challenge we are doing. We are motivating engineers, we are developing engineers, and it is in our hand of we faculty engineers to reshape them to accept the tomorrow challenges. So this is really indeed a great moment, and Dr. Ravande, without failure, you are doing adding more and more things to this particular event. That it means that definitely this particular campus will have future engineers who will lead the tomorrow, who will lead the world of tomorrow. So, Dr. Ravande, thank you for installing this particular Engineers Day Award, and I am very indeed delightful that Monish Dardaji, who has accepted this particular Engineers Day Award and from MIT ADT University. And if this kind of people who has accepted this particular award are on our board and are with us, then definitely we will have the Sundar Pichai from MIT ADT University, more and more Monish Dardaji, more and more Anand Deshpande ji from this particular university. And definitely the university is taking a different shape as considered as we are considering the innovation and the research culture in the organization. We have recently we have opened up a lot of 2 conference brochures, and I think the research culture is really taking a new shape in this particular university, and definitely I think that is the really a good thing that we are coming up with this. Thank you, Avinash Kulkarni ji, for accepting this particular Engineers Day Award. And I think there are no other person other than you for accepting this particular award. And I think 3 technologies which you have briefed, really a wonderful technologies which you have made. Really, we Indians have to come up with a lot of innovation in this particular technologies. 2 days back only, our AFCON Vice President was on our campus, and he has briefed that the metro station designing is done by AFCON and AFCON, and how they are facing the challenges of civil engineers to come up on the sites and to work on the field, because more of us are more interested to sit on the laptop and to work on the drawing and designing and to be in the AC offices. So we have to be we have to accept these challenges. MIT ADT University is following the holistic approach of education, and I think we are trying to see that our more and more engineers are coming up with the problem-solving ability. This problem-solving ability is really creating really making our engineers competent, and we faculty members are very proud that we are taking a very strong efforts for developing this problem solving ability, design thinking approach, critical thinking, and for that the lot of efforts all faculty members are taking in MIT ADT University campus. As we all aware that this particular award we are celebrating for Mokshagandham, birth anniversary of Mokshagandham Vishveshwaraya ji, and we have seen his video. He has started the Polytechnic College, and he is the first man who has started with the railway track designing in India. We all are facing today the Industrial Revolution 5.0, and Industrial Revolution 4.0 has taken is for the digital transformation. We are indeed very proud and to mention about, as being a director ICT, that ours is the 91st university in all over India who has completed online admission and online execution of exam management and the learning management platform for MIT in India, out of the 294 universities who has completed on time in last pandemic, that is 2021 year. This year also we are little bit delayed because of the critical second wave, but still we are at the verge of commencement of the session. Most of the programs, the postgraduate and management program and I think design program have started on time, but I think engineering program, they will be coming soon, and we will be achieving our target, and definitely we will be we are doing. The faculty members have taken a lot of pain for managing the students while they are on the LMS because of the net connectivity and the lot of issues which we are focusing. So today is even though the Engineers Day is celebrated on 15th of September, but today we are celebrating this day on the day of 17th September, and it is the birthday of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and he who has taken the initiative of digital transformation and Atmanirbhar Bharat. So definitely this particular initiative, this digital transformation has taught us that the data is the new oil for every one of us. using this data, the analytical abilities we are incorporating into the more or more processes and in more or more decision making, and based on that we are coming up with this particular solution, and we are accepting this challenge of digital transformation. So social media and digital transformation has taken reshape during this pandemic, and lot of industry has survived and lot of industry has grown during this period of pandemic. Last year when we have launched one of the finance technology conference. In that particular conference, it has been seen that India is every Indians will be replacing the fourth job. The lot of Indian population is India is having a lot of Indian populations, and lot of engineers are coming up, and the IT industries like ICERTs, the BMC software and the other industries who are working into the blockchain technology. We are the Indians who are who are first one who are using the payment technologies highly in all over the world. So hope that the technologies like a blockchain technology, we have a center of excellence for MIT School of Engineering in blockchain technology. So more or more researchers are coming up in India, and I think that definitely to lead this university as a best private university in all over the India, as a best engineering students or the best students who are in the product development in coming years will be known as. Thank you one and all. Thank you for listening me very patiently, and thank you for accepting this honor, and thank you for arranging this particular event very significantly, Dr. Vande and the team of MIT School of Engineering. So thank you one and all, and happy Engineers Day to you all. Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for those inspiring words. I now request Dr. Rajesh Prasad, the professor of CSE and the convener of this program, to propose a vote of thanks.
A lovely and warm good afternoon to all present here. Respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, our beloved Honorable Bapu sir, respected Karad madam, chief guest Dr. Kulkarni sir, guest of honor Dr. Darda sir, respected principal sir, governing body member Dr. Deepak Shikarpur sir, dean madam, faculty members and student friends who are online. It is a matter of pride for me to propose a vote of thanks on this auspicious occasion. We are truly blessed and fortunate to have Honorable Vishwanathji Karad sir as an founder president and an inspirational mentor for all of us. We are always been motivated and encouraged by the words of our beloved Executive President, respected Mangeshji Karad sir. Thank you, sir, for always being supporting to all of us in all our endeavors. Many thanks to respected Sunita Karad madam for her all support and encouragement. She has enlightened us about the future of School of Engineering, and we are very thankful to madam for encouraging us for doing so many research centers, Center of Excellence labs, and so many activities at School of Engineering. We are also thankful to Deepak Shikarpur sir for always being with us for all our endeavors and bringing so many industrial projects to our campus. I, on behalf of MIT ADT University and entire faculty members of MIT School of Engineering, spread my most sincere thanks to our chief guest and guest of honor for sparing their valuable time and gracing this function with their words of wisdom. Sir, we have understood how the engineers can be true engineers in terms of when there is crisis, when there is technology available, and we can use our technology in the term as an opportunity in a given crisis. We are thankful to our leader, respected principal sir, to support us in all kind of activities, making us comfortable by putting all his efforts and time in making the event successful. Our dean, associate dean, head of departments are real pillars of the institute, and we are very much thankful to all of them for being a strong support for all of us for this function. We wish to extend our generous thanks to the faculty members and the students' friends for joining this function. Our sincere gratitude and thanks to all committee members, technical support staff, admin staff, and support staff. Thank you once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prasad sir. And now we shall end this program with Pasaidan. Request everyone to rise in their seats and join.
आता विश्वात्मके देवे येणे वाग्यज्ञे तोषावे तोषोनि मज द्यावे पसाय दान जे खळांची व्यंकटी सांडो तया सत्कर्मी रतिवाढ भूता परस्परे पडो मैत्र जीवांचे दुरिताचे तिमिर जाओ विश्वस्वधर्म सूर्ये पाहो जो देवांशील तो तेलाह प्राणी जात वर्षत सकळ मंगळी ईश्वर निष्ठांची मांदियाळी अनवरत भूमंडळी भेट तू भूता चला कल्पतरूंचे आरव चेतना चिंतामणीचे गाव बोलते जे अर्णव पियुषाचे चंद्रमे जे अनांचन मार्तंड जे तापहीन ते सर्वाही सदा सज्जन सोय रे हो तू किंबहुना सर्व सुखी पूर्ण होनी तिही लोकी भजिजो आदि पुरुषी अखंडित आणि ग्रंथोपजीविये विशेषी लोकीये दृष्टादृष्ट विजये होवावे जी येथ म्हणे श्री विश्वेश्वराव हा होईल दान पसावो येणे वरे ज्ञान देवो सुखिया झाला.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for being here for this wonderful program. Thank you, all the dignitaries.